Morning. Fosse 18. Goodbye. Goodbye. Hamlin towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayors are naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, to find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a gilder, I'd my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat, nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous, only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. Come in, cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips where smile went out and in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, it's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced towards the council table, and please, your honor, said he, I am able, by means of secret charm to draw all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper. And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check. And that scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. Yes, said he, Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fred the cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats, I eased in Asia the Nizam, of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders? 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept, below his pipe his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and a muttering grew to a grumbling, and a grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who was out as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to land home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as a scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses bright, and moving away of pickle tub boards, and leaving a jar of conserve covers, and drawing the cork of train oil flasks, and the breaking hoops of butter casks. And it seemed as if the voice, sweeter far than by harp or by psalteries breathed, calls out, oh, rats, rejoice, the world has grown to a vast dry saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just as methought it said come for me, I found the Weser rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells so they rock the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, get long poles, poke up the nests and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats, when suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace. But first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders! The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, moussel, vin de gras pop, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink, and what's this that come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks that shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your poke. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, was a joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell and he cried, no trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the crime of the head cook's potage. All he's rich in, for having left in the Caleb's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bake a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion, they find me piped after another faction. How, cried the mayor, do you think I grew? Being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a rival, with idle pipe and vesture rival. Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe and smooth straight cane, and ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave in raptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling up, pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering, and like foals in the farmyard when barley is scattering, out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping ran merrily after. The wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood as if they were changed into blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosoms beat as the piper turned from High Street, to where the Weser rolls its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Cockleburg Hill the steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never can cross the mighty top. He's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced and the children followed, and when all were into the very last, the door in the mountainside shall pass. Did I say all? No one was lame, and could not dance the golden way. And in after years, if you would blame his sadness, he was used to say, his doll in our towns is my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, flowers before the fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. Sparrow was bright and a peacock here, and their dogs outran our fellow deer. And honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. And this I became assured, my lame folk be speedily cured. The music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas for Hamelin, there came into many a burgher's pate a text which says that heaven's gate opes to the rich at as easy rate as the needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor sent east, west, north, and south to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas lost endeavor, and piper and dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, and the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing piper tabor was sure for his future to lose his labor, nor suffered they hostelry or tavern, shocked with mirth the streets so solemn. And opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not omit to say that in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress, to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison, into which they were trepanned a long time ago in a mighty band, out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out, with all men, especially pipers, and if they pipe us free from rats or mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, asking to watch the working of his lie online, and Mull scarce able to afford suppression of the deed and person to score his edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should we be set for with this staff? What save to waylay with his lies and snare all travelers who might find him posted there? And ask the road, I guessed what skull-like lack would bring, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous tract which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end describe, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through the years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreper's joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to refute the spring, my heart made finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freelier outside. Since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care about banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only prays, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft be writ, so many times among the band to wit, the knights who to dark towers search address their steps, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path appointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catches astray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged to the plain after a pace or two, than pausing to throw backward a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such starved ignoble nature. Nothing throve, for flowers as well expect as cedar grove, but chortle and spurge, according to their law, might propagate their kind with none to awe. You'd think a burr had been a treasure trove. No penury or inertness in grimace, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, it nothing skills. I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must cure this place, calcine its clods and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mates, its head was chopped. The bents were jealous else, what made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh swarce leaves, bruised as to walk all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, pashing their life out with brutes intense. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair and leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone astare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service in the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red, gaunt, and calloped neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draught of earlier, happier sights, ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, the soldier's art. One taste of old times of call to rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold, an arm in mine fixed me to the place. That way he used, alas, one night's disgrace. Oh, wet my heart through fire and left it cold. Giles then, the soul of honor, there he stands, frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare, he said he durst. Good, but the scene shifts. Thaw what hangman's hand pinned to his breast a parchment. His own band reads it, poor traitor spit upon and cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkening path. No sound, no sight as far as the eye can see. Will the night send a howlet or a bat, I asked, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the glooms. This as it frothed by might have been a bath of the fiend's glowing hoof, to see the wrath of its black eddies be spat with flakes and spoons. Which while I forded, good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's feet, or each step or feel the spear I thrust to seek, for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but ugh, it sounded like a baby's shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank, now for a better country, vain prescience. Who were the strugglers? What war did they wage? What savage trample could thus pad the dank soil to a plash? Toads in a poisoned tank, or wild cats in a red-hot cage? The fight must so have seemed in that foul surf. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse, none out of it. Mad druids set to work their brains, no doubt, like the galley slave the Turks, pits for his pastime Christians against Jews. And more than that, a furlong on, why there, what bad use was that engine for, that wheel, or brake not wheel, that harrow fit to reel men's bodies out like silk, with all the air of Tophet's tool, on earth left unaware, or brought to sharpen its rusty teeth with steel. Then came some stubbed ground, once a wood, next to marsh it would seem, now mere earth, desperate and done with, so the fool finds mirth, makes a thing and mars it, till his mood changes and off he goes. Bog, clay, and rubble, sand and stark black dearth, now blotches rankling colored gay and grim, now patches where some leanness of the soils broke into moss or substances like oils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it recoils. As far as ever from the end, not in the distance, but the evening not, to point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird, Apollyon's bosom's friend, sailed past, or beat his wide wings dragon-penned, that brushed my cap, perchance the guide I sought. For looking up aware I somehow grew, spite of the dusk, plain a given place all round to mountains with such names to grace, mere heights and heaps now stolen in view. How thus they had surprised me, solve it you, how to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seemed to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me. God knows when, in a bad dream perhaps, here it ended then, progress this way. When in the very nick of giving up, one more time came a click, as when the trap shuts, you're in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place. Those two hills to the right, crouched like two bulls locked horn in fight, while to the left, a tall scalped mountain, dunce daughter, a dozing at the very nunts, after a lifetime of trading for the sight. What in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret, blind as a fool's heart, built of brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest's mocking elf points to the shipman, thus the unseen shelf he strikes on only when timbers start. Not see, because of the dark perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled like a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hands to see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. Not here, when noise was everywhere, it told, increasing like a bell in my ears. Names, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers. How such was strong and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of old. Lost, one moment knelled the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, a living frame, for one more picture in a sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet, dauntless the slughorn to my lips I set, and blew, child Roland to a dark tower came. Bagels, bagels, everyone loves bagels, 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 won't you eat one too? Porsche boy loves bagels, he's a junkie, punk and flunky, it looks like your mother and father too. Bagels, bagels, everyone loves bagels. Bagels, bagels, won't you eat one too? Hello, welcome to the stream. My name's Steve. I'm a bagel baker. I'm baking bagels. This is a batch of multigrain, and I'm putting them on mahogany boards. The reason I put them on mahogany boards is to get them in the oven, obviously, but also I guess there is no also. They're here to put the bagels in the oven. That's why they're here. I use this long paddle. No, this is we're called rosemary rock salt. McDonald's bagels. I went. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome if McDonald's bought us out and called us McDonald's bagels. I would be an employee of McDonald's then. This is called a shiva, and this is how I manipulate the bagels inside the oven. If I worked for McDonald's, I would definitely be dressing up in a Ronald McDonald clown suit. That would make me very happy. That'd make me very happy to bake, and I'm sure it'd be very comfortable. I love McDonald's is like, I don't eat at McDonald's very often, but I really do love their culture. Clowns, you can't go wrong with clowns. And a big fat purple thing, and a thief, a burger thief. My God, like who thought of those genius mascots of theirs? Genius, I tell ya. I really want, I want mascots for this business as well. I like maybe a blue dinosaur or something on like a chain, something sort of BDSM, you know, just sort of suggesting BDSM. We need new mascots for a new century, okay? Sausage pizza. I'll give you sausage pizza. Come and get it. comments. I'm making bagels. Oh, sorry, I didn't read all that. Morning. Welcome to the stream. My name's Steve. Mis amigos, ¿cómo está? Hello everybody, my name's Steve. I'm baking bagels. I'm a bagel baker. A baker of bagels. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Have an excellent morning.